Welcome. Hello, how are you? We are Uriel and Carmina, and together we are Nova Pangaea.
Thank you, guys. We're going to start with this song called Smile.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through. You'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll find a life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. This is our 8th show of Together in Harmony Dallas 22, and it is called Joy. Hope you like it. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through. You'll see the sun come shining through for you.
There you go.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome, welcome.
Today is dedicated to joy.
That's right. And we're excited to have 3 amazing guests today.
Oh yes.
So
We're gonna enjoy.
here's a little intro for you guys. So let's see if you guys like it. Here we go. There you go. Let's just welcome our first guest tonight. Her name is Emily Sanders. Where's Emily?
And she's representing Dogs for Better Lives.
Yes, that's it.
Hi,
Hi, Emily.
Hi, nice to see
Welcome.
you guys.
Nice to see you again. Thank you. How you guys doing? How you doing?
Doing great. Super excited and love the song.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, as Charlie Chaplin, who wrote this song, we
Yes.
just did our little interpretation, bring a little more upbeat. Especially for today's show, we're talking about dogs and humans together doing something great for each other, and something that you guys really responsible for it. So we're going to ask you some questions so people understand what you guys do, especially your position, which I have it right here in front of me, is right there.
Is the Certified Assistance Dog Trainer,
Uh-huh.
Program Field Representative,
Yes.
So, can you please tell us about it a little
What
bit
does that
more?
mean, really?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of words. It's a very long title. So my job, I'm a certified assistance dog trainer, so I can train all the assistance dogs that Dogs for Better Lives trains. So autism assistance, facility dogs, and our hearing dogs. So that means I've been trained and went through our 3-year apprentice program, and I'm good to do it solo. And then for the program field representative piece, that means that I work with up to 50 to 60 clients who have service dogs, and I make sure that those teams are successful in a certain area. So anything that's going on, if they're having any behavioral concerns or just want to tell us how great their dog is doing, then I'm the person that they talk to and chat to and help find solutions. So I kind of have a dual role, and there's always something going on. Very busy all the time.
Yeah, I bet. And actually, you were involved with Charlotte Grover, right?
Yes.
Did,
So
did you
from
did
your
you train her
guys'
dog?
yes. So her this is Charlotte's first dog. I know she was in your guys' last presentation. This is her first service dog she ever received, and the dog that she has, Guyana, is the first dog that I ever trained as an assistance dog.
Wow.
So it's really cool to have Charlotte be on the show and then also get to speak and kind of share that opposite viewpoint from handler versus trainer and what goes into producing a dog like Guyana who has impacted and changed Charlotte's life so fully.
That's great. That's great. We had Charlotte on our last show.
And what motivated you to start working with dogs? It's
Yeah. No, I think that I got into this job when I was in college and I was going to school to potentially be a veterinarian. I knew I always wanted to work with animals. And then I had a friend who was puppy raising a service animal. And I grew up in a really small town, so I didn't even know that that was something you could do as a job. And as soon as I talked to them more, I was like, that's what I want to do. That's it. Nope, don't want to be a vet. I want to train service dogs. It was kind of an instant moment for me. And I puppy raised. So I raised a puppy and then gave the organization a dog to do formal training and send the dog out as a service dog when I was in college. So I did that 3 times. And then I wanted to do it professionally, maybe make a living off of it. So I worked to get experience to do that. But it was an instant connection for me to be able to help a dog change somebody's life. To see the impact that it can have immediately, just the connection you have with a pet is so strong, but to see how strong it can be for a service dog and their handler is indescribable. Charlotte's a great representation of that. Her and Guyana have bonded so fully that you rely on each other. It's almost it's a bond like no other. So I got into it for that feeling, that human animal bond, and it was pretty immediate.
That's great. That's great. Later, I'm going to ask you something about how many dogs have you placed in Dallas or Texas a little bit later. But for now, what is the purpose of Dogs for Better Lives?
Yeah, Dogs for Better Lives mission is to train well-trained service dogs and place them with people to change their lives and impact their well-being. So we're looking to increase their independence. We train hearing assistance dogs, autism assistance dogs, and facility dogs. So we are training dogs at no cost to the recipient, putting a dog that can do tasks to help mitigate a disability and improve their level of independence and quality of life.
That's great. When you said there's no cost to the client, I mean, we get it, but I'm sure there's some fees behind that you guys have to cover. How do you guys, I mean, how much does it cost to train a dog for someone to get it for free?
That's an excellent question. It is bigger than you would think. The amount of work that goes into training a service dog is huge. So we breed the dogs specifically for work, and that takes a lot of time, expertise. We have puppy raisers who volunteer their time, and staff that oversee the puppy program through 8 weeks old until the dog is 12 to 16 months. We have our staff that formally train, and that can take up to 6 months to 8 months to get a dog out. And then just staff on top of staff to make sure at every level that this is the right match and that they have support for the whole life of the dog. It is a lot. And so because we're a nonprofit, we don't charge our clients, but if we were looking to charge based on the services, it's looking around $60,000.
Wow.
So when we send out a dog, we are gifting a huge gift to the client solely to increase their independence and their quality of life. It's all about how can we make our community better through the human-animal connection. So we as Dogs for Better Lives are a nonprofit and solely rely off of donations and people to agree with our mission and support us. So if anybody watching would like to, we're always open for donations at dogsforbetterlives.org. Just go to our website and there's a clear big old button that says donate.
And that's exactly where we want to kind of encourage people to do it, because the other day I was just thinking, okay, we're going to donate, by the way, we're going to pledge.
Thank you.
But sometimes it's so easy to do it. I mean, I know you mentioned $60,000 is probably more than my car.
Yeah, more than mine too.
Yeah, but you know what? It's helping other people. So imagining everybody for 1 week would say, you know what, instead of buying that $5, $6 coffee, or even $7 coffee now, I'm going to put that money into serving someone else. So imagine, I know $60,000 might probably be a lot, but when you put in the context of that, we are millions of people living in this country, you know, but we can actually pitch in with $5, $10, $20, whatever you can. I think the word would be overwhelming. I mean, just understanding and knowing that you were part of that training, that you were part of that synchronicity of these two beings through you guys. I think that's ultimately what we like to see in people. I mean, maybe could be a meal, could be a burger, could be something else. They say, you know, today I'm gonna, and actually it might probably be healthy for you too. You know.
True.
So you mentioned again. You mentioned where can they donate? Can you repeat that? And actually, on the feed, can you can place the link where they on Facebook, where they can actually click on it and they can just go to your website and donate. But can you just repeat again, where can they donate?
Yes. So dogsforbetterlives.org, and that's dogsforbetterlives.org. You can donate on our website, and there's a big old button that says donate.
We like the big old buttons. There's no, it's not hidden, it's right there. You know what? Also, we have a question because my cousin, he has autism. He's been within the spectrum since he was probably 3 years old, and I've seen him. I mean, I still think that he's little because I've been here in the United States for more than 25 years. So when I left Mexico, because I'm from Mexico, he was little. He was probably 8 years old. Right now, he might probably be 30-something. But I remember he started kind of having these moments of living, you know, keeping to himself, not being able to communicate, in a lot of anxiety, you know, a lot of. I remember people calling, "Hey, he's throwing a tantrum," but I knew it was not a tantrum. I knew it was something different, you know, and I can picture, you know, other parents dealing with the bullying, dealing with all these situations. So I guess my question is, if you can describe what is the main difference between a hearing assistant dog, and autism assistant dog? Because I'm sure it might probably be a difference in between those two.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So our dogs are each trained to help mitigate a disability with tasks. And that means that the dogs are going to do different things to help different people. So for hearing assistance, our dogs alert to a variety of sounds in the environment. Think about the sounds that you can naturally hear in your home. So if someone knocks on your doorbell, if your oven timer keeps going off, if your smoke alarm is going off. All of those sounds are sounds that our dogs will hear, find their person, make physical contact with their nose, touching them really insistently, and then the dog will guide them back to the sound that's going off. That is a huge benefit to anybody that has hearing assistance, hearing loss in some form, because then they can go immediately figure out what's going on, and it can save their life. The smoke alarm, people typically can sleep through. So having that reassurance can be a huge peace of mind. Our autism assistance dogs are working with a different population and are going to offer different skills. So, like you mentioned, sometimes there can be a social discrepancy. It's hard to make friends. It's hard to interact in social situations. And our dogs are what we call a social bridge. So everybody loves dogs. Everybody likes to come up and talk about dogs. And when you bring your service animal in public, people come up and talk and encourage our kiddos that have autism to talk about something they're passionate about so they can practice their social skills. Another thing that our dogs do are provide deep pressure therapy. So our dogs can jump on somebody's lap, just their front paws, and kind of hang out there, allow you to pet them, maybe give them a quick hug. Our dogs can settle on their side, so they'll lay on their side and kind of let you use them like a pillow. You can lead and kind of focus on breathing, a lot of ways to help you regulate your emotions. And then also our dogs can do hand touches. They can learn how to put their chin on somebody's lap and hang out, and provide like that social interaction. They can also learn how to squish, which is similar to lap, but they'll lay on their back and the dog will lay over them. And kind of, again, that deep pressure. So on the torso, allow that deep pressure to help them just, again, regulate their emotions and understand that it's going to get better. So our autism assistance dogs do a completely different job than our hearing assistance dogs. But I would say the main difference is our autism assistance dogs are trying to help kiddos learn to regulate their emotions, have a social bridge in public, and then also they can be a tether to keep them close to their families when they're out in public, instead of trying to elope or run away from their parents if they do get stressed or anxious. So those are huge things that can make parents feel more safe, and also the kiddos do better in public situations while they're learning. Our range right now, I believe, is 4 to 8 to take kiddos on our applications, and our applications are absolutely open for autism assistance, hearing assistance dogs, and facility dogs.
Wow, that's great. I have a couple of questions. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, one question is, you guys also train the families, right? Because it's not just giving the dog and that's it. I mean, what is that? How is that process of training the human beings to live with these dogs?
Dogs for Better Lives is actually pretty unique in that we will take our assistance dogs to the family, to the recipients, and train them for 5 full days on how to utilize their service animal, how to practice obedience, how to do the tasks, and how do we incorporate this dog into their daily life. So typically we'll stay for 5 full days, do some tests, make sure that everyone's confident and happy. But they also have pre-placement materials and post-placement things that they do. So they will have so much learning material in our client library. And then they also have us for lifelong help. So they have to fill out little progress reports as they have the dog. So every month for the first year, and then every year thereafter, we check in, make sure the team is doing good, offer any support that they need. We are super involved to make sure the team is successful. But the biggest unique thing that DBL does is that we will fly out and spend time specifically in the family's home and home environment. a lot of people and other organizations require the family to fly to their organization to get placements. And although that is useful for some facilities, we found that working in the home environment, especially for our kiddos with autism, is better because it doesn't disrupt their routine as heavily. So it can help them adjust easier to having a service dog and learning the things that we're asking for them to take from the seminars. So it is a very big process, 5 full days, basically work days, 8-hour days. And by the end of it, if they're getting it and everything looks good, we'll call it. But we will again stay no matter what if they need additional help. So it's all based on the client and what they need.
Well, that sounds great. Ready to go for another song?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. I mean, Paola, I saw Paola watching and a couple more people there, my mom
Thank you.
there too. If you guys have a question,
Let us
you want to
know.
type it in?
I have some questions from last show, but later on.
Later on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we're gonna play you a video for one of our songs too. It's called the Animal Song. So hopefully you guys like it.
See you later.
Superstars and cannonballs are running through your head. Television, official cops and shootings everywhere. Subway makes me nervous, people pushing me too far. I've gotta break away, so take my hand now, 'cause I want to live like animals, careless and free. Like animals, I want to live. I want to run through the jungle, the wind in my hair and the sand at my feet. I've been having difficulties keeping to myself. Feelings and emotions better left upon the shelf. Animals and children tell the truth, they never lie. Which one is more human? There's a thought, now you decide. Compassion in the jungle, compassion in your head. Would you like to make a roll for it? Would you like to take my hand? 'Cause I want to live like animals, careless and free. Like animals, I want to live. I want to run through the jungle, the wind in my hair and the sand at my feet. Sometimes this life can get you down. It's so confusing, there's so many rules to follow. And I feel it, 'cause I want to run away. When superstars and cannonballs are running through your head, and television, official cops and shootings everywhere. Animals and children tell the truth, they never lie. Which one is more human? There's a thought, now you decide. Compassion in the jungle, compassion in your head. Would you like to make a run for it? Would you like to take my hand? 'Cause I want to live like animals, careless and free. Like animals, I want to live. I want to run through the jungle, the wind in my hair and the sand at my feet. Like animals, careless and free. Like animals, I want to live. I want to run through the jungle, the wind in my hair and the sand at my feet.
That was a pretty song. Yeah.
Okay. So, welcome back. It seems like we have like a
I don't
different
know,
audio.
there's something going.
Thank you so much for including me. That was wonderful. I love
Yeah,
this
thank
song.
you. we hear, is someone playing a radio station or something?
It sounds good on my end.
Oh
if it
no,
sounds
hold
good
on.
to you.
I think it's on the same.
That's it. I think that was us.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. We had Emily. Thank you, Emily, for joining us as well. We're going to bring you back in a little bit. But we're going to move to our next two guests today.
Yes.
Stacie Bianco.
Stacie Bianco, she's also from Better Lives. She's a facility dog handler and young professionals board chair. And her handsome dog fielder. Thank you for joining us tonight. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for including both of us. We're so excited to be a part of this, and I love the two songs. It was a great
thank you.
intro. I love it.
Thank you so much, and we love that you are with us. It seems like Filbert, it's an angel sleeping.
This is what he does best. There's so much going on here, and he just loves to, he's a very mellow boy and loves to just be a comfort. So I know we'll talk about that more, but he will probably nap the whole time.
I bet it's part of his job to bring calm and relaxed, right?
It sure is. It sure is. And there's so much power in that. And I think anyone that's listening that has experienced that, it's almost that you know that feeling if you've experienced it. And what a benefit and what a joy to be able to share that with so many people. So I'm excited to talk about that today.
Oh, I'm really envy your job.
I love this. Oh my goodness.
I've heard you guys looking for volunteers and looking for positions here in Carrollton. So we're going to talk about it in a little bit. But first, Stacie, your title, Dog Handler and Young Professionals Board Chair for Dogs for Better Lives. What does that mean?
Yes. So let's talk about facility dog handler first. So that means that I work with a facility dog like Filbert and incorporate animal assisted intervention, or AAI, into a variety of different facilities. So we're actually multi-facility. We'll talk about some of the places we work, which is primarily hospitals, adult and children's hospitals. We also work with a couple of different programs, an acquired brain injury program, a day program, rehabilitation facilities, memory care facilities, and outreach events for Dogs for Better Lives. So very unique. And the overall intent is to partner with different facilities that have populations that would benefit an improved quality of life from having a facility dog visit. So that is that piece. And the other part that kind of goes in hand with this is I help out serving on their young professionals board. So Dogs for Better Lives has this associate board of individuals, young professionals who are driven to support this organization. So we do a lot of advocacy, education, and outreach, and also fundraising. So some of what we do with outreach, which is pretty unique for a facility dog, is we go out into the community, different outreach events, such as recently there was the Autism Walk in Portland. That was such a great organization and great event by the Autism Society of Oregon. We will be helping out with a special education day camp that's going on this summer. There's a lot. So we help out throughout the Pacific Northwest and are based in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, that sounds great. I like to see if there's any way that you guys can do something here in Dallas, because we're based in Dallas. Is there any group, any alliance that you guys have?
So we're very heavy. So Dogs for Better Lives has been based in Southern Oregon and just recently opened up their second campus in the Northeast in Massachusetts. But what's really neat is facility dogs are national. And so if anyone after today was interested in something like volunteering through becoming a puppy raiser or even a facility dog handler, it is something, the best resource is to go to dogsforbetterlives.org, which we were talking about before. That is really the best place to go. There is so much information online there, all about the 3 different types of dogs that Dogs for Better Lives places, including facility dogs, and also a variety of ways to get involved as a volunteer.
Wow, it seems like it's we need to promote this so people can
Yes,
join and
that would
help
be
them.
awesome. I would like to enroll. Why not?
It's such a great group too. I think as many of us have discovered through what draws us to these organizations, you'll sometimes hear, like myself, people that have been involved and come from the dog perspective, but what keeps us around is the people. I that's something that's kept me around, is the people that you get connected with are, especially during a time like, let's say with COVID, it has really been such a light during sometimes dark times. It's like, gosh, there is a lot of good that's happening in the world as well. There's some really wonderful people that you get connected with, very kind-hearted and really wonderful people.
I bet, yes. And well, talking about this beautiful job that you does is this is also because we know there is a bond between dogs and humans, very natural bonds. We love dogs, but I mean, we have like a pet, but what's the bond, and how is the bond between the service dogs or facility dogs with humans? Is it a difference?
Oh, it's so interesting. Yeah, it's a great question. I think what's interesting is, these are working dogs, and I think sometimes that bond, you go into scenarios that you're not going to be going into with a pet. These are professionally trained dogs. So he was born, raised, trained, and placed as a working dog. And so his whole background, specific to him, he actually was puppy raised with an organization called Guide Dogs for the Blind. And he was puppy raised with the intent to become a guide dog. And Dogs for Better Lives partners with some of these organizations. That means he went through a formal puppy raising program since he was born up until he went into formal training, and he got career change due to a medical condition. And so Guide Dogs for the Blind works with other organizations like Dogs for Better Lives, because these dogs, they have such incredible personalities and demeanors that they can do other working jobs. And he loves people and loves doing this, and so he is a wonderful fit and a perfect fit for facility work. And you can, I'm sure, just picture him. His favorite thing is falling asleep like this on a hospital bed with patients.
Oh, wow.
So this is what he is meant to do. So it's really neat to hear these different working paths of these dogs. So when he has this vest on and goes into a facility, he is working, and there is a lot of expectation that goes along with that. In general, you see a very well-behaved dog, but there is so much that goes into producing a dog like that, and Dogs for Better Lives is a huge reason why these dogs can be out in the community.
So how do you get involved with dog training?
Gosh, well, I'm one of those people that my first memories have always been dogs. So my whole life, just more from the sport side of things. I did dog agility and got involved with volunteering. And then about 6 years ago, I got involved with another assistance dog organization very similar to Dogs for Better Lives in Columbia, South Carolina. And they place mobility assistance dogs. And everything kind of came together, that missing piece of, I love dogs, I love working with them, and I love the impact of the human-animal bond, but this is something I've been doing kind of for fun. And so you see these working dogs where it just, all the gravity of working with dogs and having dogs actually work with an individual in an assistance dog capacity is a whole different ballgame. It's a huge sense of purpose and fulfillment. And very similar to Emily, after a few years of being exposed to these organizations and volunteering, I knew that I wanted to puppy raise. And I puppy raised for Guide Dogs for the Blind, my husband and I did. And it was, for lack of a better phrase, it was a life-changing experience. And I would encourage anyone hearing this, if they had any interest or any thought of that, it is absolutely worth pursuing in whatever capacity that works for you. It could be co-raising, it could be starting a puppy. There's so much there, and it was extremely transformative. And so that's why I knew that I wanted to stay very involved with these organizations. It's been extremely fulfilling.
Yeah, of course. Let us say hi to the people that are actually, joining us. Susana Junis, she says, hola chicos. That's in Spanish. She says hi. But there's a friend of ours, Tia Dudu. She's asking a question in Spanish. I'm going to translate. She said, hola, nos están dando un Doberman de 2 años que es tremendo. Es buena edad para poder educarlo y que aprenda a ser un amigo de asistencia. So in English would be, they're giving our friend a Doberman who is actually 2 years old. But he's a mess. He's all over the place. what is the perfect age to educate him so he learns how to be as an assistant dog, or if there's no way we can
Yeah.
train him for the task?
Sure. Oh, big question. I would say from a pet dog perspective, aside from assistance dog work, that starts from the very, very beginning is when they're young. So dogs are always learning, very similar to humans, is they're always learning from us. And so just like these assistance dog organizations, the training starts from day one. And so it's never too early. And then Dogs for Better Lives, they work actually exclusively with dogs within their program. And so that could be acquiring dogs through shelters or acquiring dogs through the breeding cooperative that they're a part of, Purpose Bred Dogs. And so there are some organizations within the accrediting organization that is called Assistance Dogs International. And that would be, there are some programs that will work with individuals outside of the program. However, it's best to work with a local trainer in order to, work with their dog and get some help and education in that regard.
Oh, wow. Well, that was great.
So it means that there's no, because there was another question last show,
Last show.
and it was about what was the best breed, or if there is certain breeds that are better to, to work with, let's say, autism, or just be a facility. I mean,
Hearing dog.
or if there's
Sure.
not any difference.
Sure, definitely. It would be a great question for Emily to answer as well. I think
Let's
that
just bring Emily
Yeah.
back.
Emily, come on.
Emily, come back to the room.
Yeah.
There
Hi,
you go.
guys.
There you go. So that's a good question, Carmina. We forgot because last show,
Yeah.
I can't remember who asked this question, but
I think it was the same one.
Tia
Tia
Dudu?
Dudu. Yeah. So we're going to translate later on in Spanish, so our audience.
so the question
knows.
is, what is the best breed for an assistant dog?
So, from our organization, the most common dog that we put out is a Labrador Retriever or a Golden Retriever. I think that mainly that is because the size and temperament of the dogs is universally pretty ideal. Their size is about moderate. They're not too big. They're not too small. And then also their personality is they're willing to work for food. I would say food motivated is almost a guarantee with most labs.
Like musicians, right?
Yes.
They work for food.
They're big fans of food. And then they also are usually very social and are confident. So I say that, but we do have, like Stacie mentioned, a breeding co-op and people that have been doing this and breeding selectively for service work for a very long time. So that is also a huge point, is there's a genetic component to the lines that we're picking to do the work. We're looking for a dog that is really confident in new places, so can go into a new place and feel not fearful or stressed, but confident. And that is, a lot of pet dogs just don't have that ability, and that's hard to come by. So we're looking for confidence, we're looking for resilience and ability to overcome stress. There's no one breed that would be the perfect service animal. Any dog can be a service animal. It just depends on temperament, what you need, and then also what the dog will do for you. So like for our autism assistance dogs, they do typically run on the larger side because we're asking them to tether, so be attached to a small child if they try to run away. And we do need a bigger dog for that. And we also need deep pressure therapy skills. So we need a dog that can provide deep pressure, which is, again, a larger dog. We're looking at over 40 to 50 pounds. So
Okay.
that is a component to it. But we just placed a dog that was a mix that was pulled from a shelter that's under 20 pounds and is able to do the sound work portion at DBL. So there's not one specific dog. It just depends on temperament. willingness to do the work, want to do the work, and their confidence. So our organization, like Stacie said, does not train individuals that already have pet dogs, but there are organizations that do, and I definitely encourage you to look through Assistance Dogs International website if you're interested. The questions I would have you ask yourself are, what skills can this dog provide that would help mitigate a disability? And then also, does my dog enjoy going into public? Because an aspect of a service dog is, can I be confident in new places and new settings, new environments? Because that's really important. Do I need that? So there's a lot of questions to ask yourself. And I think working with the trainer and working with other dog training professionals is really important. It takes, if DBL is any indication, it takes a village to get a service dog out. So find your people and start assessing. Yeah.
Because that's actually one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Can someone say, hey, I have a dog and, you know, I'm a little bit stressed out. Can I find someone to train him or train her as my assistant dog? And you responded to that question.
So an assistance dog as a title means that the assistance dog is trained to do tasks to help mitigate a disability. So if, like, you are diagnosed with a disability, so saying that you have autism, saying that you have some type of hearing loss, saying that you have vision loss, something that is a disability, and a dog can help mitigate by, like our autism dogs, can do deep pressure therapy, can help regulate emotions, can do all these things. A hearing assistance dog, where our dogs are alerting them to life-saving sounds. What can a dog do that will help mitigate your disability? And is it something that you would like to have? Because a dog, a service animal, there is accessibility equipment that can help mitigate disabilities, but a dog and having a service dog are about also companionship and having a partner through it. So is that the right call for you and what you want for your life? I think those are all questions to consider. You can train your own service dog. You have the ability to do so. Unfortunately, Dogs for Better Lives does not help in that process, but there are other organizations that do. So I encourage you, if that is something you're interested in, definitely look at Assistance Dogs International and find an organization that can help you.
Wow, that's a lot of information to take.
So yeah, because I've seen a lot of ads lately about, oh, you can do your dog as an emotional dog, right? Like emotional outcome. There's like certifications about that. You can bring your dog everywhere just because you need his or her company. So this is different, right?
This is not the same thing. So an emotional support animal is absolutely not the same thing as a service dog.
Okay.
A service dog is task trained, can mitigate a disability, and is also trained to go into public spaces and be unobtrusive. Mm-hmm. That is really important. An emotional support animal is mainly for housing, to accommodate different things going on for their handler, but they are not trained to do anything and do not have access to public spaces that service animals do. So that is not the same thing. And if people are bringing their pets into non-pet friendly areas, that is not appropriate. A service dog has earned that right through a lot of rigorous training.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
I think it's very
There's another question that I don't know if this is for Stacie or for you, Emily, but because Stacie mentioned it about transferring tasks or how she put it. How do you put it, Stacie, that if a dog is not good for blind, for example, you transfer.
Oh, sure.
You transfer him
Career,
or her.
maybe
career change, like humans, right? So how do you know when a dog is not qualified, is not ready for hearing dogs, and maybe you can place him into a different career? How do you guys do that? And how do you guys do that transition?
Sure, I'll start and I'll let Emily finish up. So what's really neat is there are professionally trained staff members that are at these organizations. So Guide Dogs for the Blind, they have a placement team that would look at something like that, look at each dog as an individual, seeing how they're progressing. Assistance dogs, as Emily has touched on, there is so much that goes into these dogs actually graduating. And there are many, many dogs that, for a variety of reasons, from medical to behavioral reasons, get career changed. So he was for a medical reason. And so I will switch it over to Emily to speak a little bit more specifically, but there are staff members that will look at the dog as an individual for a variety of reasons why they would career change a dog onto another career path, or career changing them outside of the assistance dog world altogether and be placed as a pet. So I'll let Emily touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah, Stacie, that's a great way to start. So to add on to that, Dogs for Better Lives is very specific in that we choose the line of work that the dog wants to do. We do not force a dog to do a job that they don't have any interest in, and that's the most important aspect. We're looking for dogs that have a willingness to work, have a drive to do it, and then we can assign them based on their personality and temperament. So as you guys can probably see, Filbert is the most calm, sensitive, sweet boy. He was not always a candidate for our hearing assistance program because he had more interest in connecting with people, being pet, calmly hanging out, being relaxed. He fit more into our autism or facility dog roles. So we let the dog tell us what type of work they want to do. We do have dogs that come in and they're more, I wouldn't say indifferent to people, but they love to work. They're always looking for something to do. I just had a dog recently that, would wake up out of the dead of night, middle of the night, sleeping, and if a sound went off, this dog wanted to work. That's a great dog for our hearing assistance program. And fantastic for that program, but maybe wouldn't fit in our autism or facility dog roles.
Right.
But more than anything, if a dog doesn't have an interest in working, they tell us in a lot of different ways that as trained professionals, we're able to notice and then make the call to career change them to be a pet or to move them to a different organization that we think their personality and temperament would be best suited for. So just like at Guide Dogs for the Blind, DBL has a bunch of professionals and different connections of different service dog organizations that we can then take and move dogs around to based on what they would do best. So Filbert found his best home, clearly. So that's proof in itself. We know what we're talking about sometimes.
Yeah. Do they feel any trauma? I mean, like, maybe I'm speaking from a human brain, right? Yeah, but I mean, because I don't know if I'm trained for.
I guess you're gonna ask the same question, but yeah.
I don't know if I'm trained to be a guitar player, and someone says, "Dude, no, you're not good. We're gonna put you into drums." I would probably feel depressed. I would probably feel like, wow, I don't know, I'm not loved in the world.
Yeah.
Do dogs feel the same way? Do they get depressed about this transition?
I don't know if they would feel depressed. I don't want to, humans are very complex and have the ability to make higher, moral decisions. So, is this right or wrong? They can contemplate if something is good or bad or feels bad. Dogs don't have that same capability. So they are under a certain amount of stress when they're doing one thing and then told suddenly we're doing something else and they don't understand it. But they are working with professionals that are able to teach them this new skill quickly, efficiently, and we train through positive reinforcement. So we're training with treats and we're having fun, we're playing, it's a good time regardless.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want that job.
That's experience, yeah.
They don't feel pressure like that or stress. And if they are stressed, it's only for a short amount of time. And ideally, if we made the right call and they're doing work that they enjoy more, they're getting more out of it than they would if they were doing something that we were kind of having to pull out of them, if that makes sense. Right. So now they're doing something they enjoy, like Filbert. As soon as he picked up these tasks, he was out of our program really quickly because he zoomed through because it was the right call.
Yeah.
So I think that too, looking at that, they do experience an amount of stress, but stress is normal and a part of life. And we try to mitigate it as much as we can with treats, praise, and fun. Training is fun, and these dogs love to work.
Wow. Maybe we should probably switch careers. Let me go back to Spanish a little bit. There's Tere Zavala, mi mami. she's asking a question, and I'm going to translate because you guys already answered to that question. Tengo una pregunta. ¿Todas las razas de perritos pueden educarse para ser amigos de asistencia? Lo que dijeron, mami, es de que ellos prefieren que sea una raza más grande, como un labrador, que te ayuda, por ejemplo, si tienes
De 40 a 60 libras.
de 40 a 60 libras, que te puede ayudar con el peso, por ejemplo. Aunque también hay organizaciones que se dedican a entrenar perritos más pequeños. Entonces, esa es la respuesta que nos dieron. So that was in Spanish.
So,
Thank you. Go back to
just-
English.
I think I have just one more question, and that's it. How do you manage, because you enjoy your job, everything is joy, but how do you manage to say goodbye to the dog when you finish the training?
Yeah, I think that having Stacie is a really good example of why it's so easy for me as an experienced trainer. I'm not going to say in the beginning it was always as easy, but now I feel good giving a dog to a client, and I know that they're going to do the best job possible. But my job, I get to see all the good that they do every single day. Stacie sends me progress reports, and I get to know every little thing that Filbert's doing. And so to know that he's out impacting his community and making a huge difference and working with a client who absolutely adores everything he does makes it a joy to give the dog to someone who wants to, make their world and their community better.
You don't cry a little bit?
Now,
Say that again?
You don't cry a little bit?
Sometimes if I really, really like the dog, it can be hard and emotional to give them to the client because it is like every dog takes a little piece of you in a way, because you do spend a lot of time with them working and getting them to a point where they're suddenly a service dog. They do not come in as service dogs, I will tell you that.
but you
Right.
should feel so happy and so proud
so much
because you
joy.
really, really do, both of you, a meaningful job. You really change lives. Thank you
It's
for that.
amazing. It's the amount of joy you feel giving a dog, and then every time you hear how they're doing, or Stacie provides an update, or we hear just, we just got an update from a client who said, my dog, we had our fire alarm go off, and the dog woke up in the middle of the night and alerted me. And that small thing brings me so much joy to hear, because we did our job and the dog could have saved this client's life. So all of these things, you get to see the direct impact our actions make. So it's a great job. There are sad days where you give them, a dog away to a very deserving client. But ultimately it's a great day because we get to then experience the rest of the dog's life. If I kept Filbert, or every dog I cared about, my house would be packed. And I couldn't make a single dent in the amount of change or impact in the community that Stacie and a group can do. All of our handlers, I think we have, I want to say 140 active teams in the United States.
Wow.
Wow.
I can't do all that, but as a community, as Dogs for Better Lives, we can. So the more I get to see that impact, the more it makes me want to continue to do my job. And I hope for Stacie, it's too the same. I want to share this message. I want to share that Dogs for Better Lives has changed her life and the people that she's interacting with, all of that.
And that is together in harmony, actually. So thank you for joining us tonight.
I just want one last question. Do you guys have any openings that you guys like to share with us? Do you guys have, because I know, Stacie, you work with volunteers. Are you guys open for volunteers? I know you're in Oregon, but anything else, anywhere else in the
Sure.
world?
I'll speak to volunteering a little bit, and I'll let Emily wrap up
Yes,
with
please.
a couple of openings that DBL has right now. So from a volunteer perspective, there's quite a variety. I will start with puppy raising. That is probably the number one need. So volunteer. There is information on Dogs for Better Lives' website, so at dogsforbetterlives.org. Puppy raisers are incredible, and as Emily and I have both touched on, it's impacted our lives it's transformative. It's one of those life-changing things. If you've experienced anyone that has done this. So what you do is you take the puppy into your household and you will help raise that puppy until about 14 to 17 months, depending on their progress and timing. And then Dogs for Better Lives would put that dog into formal training on their campus after that. And that's when Emily would take over full-time training that dog. And so Dogs for Better Lives provides resources for you and training throughout that process. So you're not alone and there's a community to do it. So I will start with that. And there's a variety of other volunteer opportunities, such as being a short-term foster. So when full-time puppy raisers are traveling, going on vacation, are not able to bring the puppy with them, then you can have that puppy in your household temporarily. I would say the biggest hub of volunteers needed are the Pacific Northwest, a little bit down the West Coast, and then in the Northeast. But their Dogs for Better Lives is growing, and there are national volunteer opportunities, such as being an ambassador or actually being a part of the Young Professionals Board. That's another opportunity and a plug for that. But quite a variety of volunteer opportunities. And of course, if you're in the Southern Oregon area or Falmouth, Massachusetts, you can actually get involved on campus with Dogs for Better Lives. So that's from a volunteer perspective. Yep.
If you guys live there, you can go and apply. That's the website right there.
Different ways to help. Yeah.
So there are tons of volunteer opportunities. There also is the way to impact your community by, if you need a service dog, where our applications are open. So our hearing assistance, autism, and facility applications are wide open. But then in terms of jobs, I know that currently in our program department, we are looking for a training manager. And also we are looking to hire a trainer in the Texas area. Yeah. So if anyone is around and looking, we do have an opportunity on our website that I'd encourage you to check out. We're looking at working with shelter dogs and teaching them how to be service dogs in foster homes. It's a huge and important role. The DBL always wants to have shelters and rescuing in our mission and in the way we impact our community. So if anyone is interested or is watching, look and see if it's a good fit for you.
That sounds like a plan. We're going to go and try. Or we can share this program so people can actually apply and everything. It's time to go. We have a last song, which is called Joy, which is the name of the show. We really want to thank you guys for joining us today. I know you're going to be involved in the next show. I don't know who's going to be the guest yet, but our next show is on next week, actually, next weekend.
Yes, for Juneteenth.
For Juneteenth, Equality. So we're still trying to connect with the guest. We'll let people know, as soon as we have that confirmed. But thank you guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your job, your passion in this emotion and feeling of joy. I mean, the work you do. And hopefully other people get that emotion, that feeling. And whether they're volunteer, whether they donate, whether they're supporting somehow, maybe by just going into your website or your Facebook and doing, at least clicking like, sharing the information, I think someone will need it. And that's what this next song is all about. We wrote this song for that purpose. Sometimes people help with music, sometimes people help with money, time or smile. That's basically what the song is all about.
There's so many ways that we can.
In so many ways.
Contribute in.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna play this song. After this song, we're gonna be gone. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you, Stacie. Thank you, Emily, for all your support, and
Filbert, thank you.
Filbert too.
Yes. Thank you for including us. This has been wonderful.
And Vincent, thank you.
And Vincent too. Thank you, Vincent, for signing for us today. And maybe next time, I don't know if you're going to be with us next time, but thank you, Vincent. So next song is called Joy. Hope you guys like it.
I've learned these things in life. Guidance makes us shine. Just be the change you want and help all those who are little behind. We all can have a dream. Be strong to make it real. Take what you need, my friend, and leave the rest for all. Music, money, time, or a smile. Don't turn your back this time. Don't turn your back this time. We'll got something to give. Music, money, time, or a smile. That makes our cause stay alive. That makes our cause stay alive. Together in harmony. We've learned these things in life. The man to look alike. Remember things that make us smile when we feel a little bit down. The world is not the same. Think us and not just me. Take what you need, give what you can. Let's show our humanity. I'm gonna tell you now, we're not coming here to hate. And when you see their pain, you'll always find a way to help. For the children with no home, and a planet in need of us. Imagine so much joy. We'll got something to give. Music, money, time, or a smile. Don't turn your back this time. Don't turn your back this time. We'll got something to give. Music, money, time, or a smile. That makes our cause stay alive. That makes our cause stay alive. Music, money, time, or a smile. Don't turn your back this time. Don't turn your back this time. We'll got something to give. Music, money, time, or a smile. That makes our cause stay alive. That makes our cause stay alive. Together in harmony. Together in harmony.
All right, thank you very much. You guys like the song?
So thank you very much. Thank you so much.
And also, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Right there, you have them on the screen. Please support our sponsors. If you guys can go to our websites and maybe just give them a like and promote them, that's always great. If you want to become a sponsor, just let us know as well. Thank you very much again. Thank you. If you guys want to say something, just to say bye.
Take care. Stay together in harmony.
Thanks for having us.
Think I'm unmuted.
Together in